Hello, and welcome to today's VC Task Force Gary's Picks event for investors and startups. My name is Joel Rosenberg, Director of Business Development and Strategy for VC Task Force. VC Task Force is an organization where the venture community comes together to address critical issues, provide workshops and other events for the benefit of the venture and entrepreneurial communities. VC Task Force provides access to an extensive ecosystem of VCs, corporate VCs, and angel investors. You may ask questions anytime during the event, and time permitting, they will be answered live after today's interview. It is my pleasure to welcome Gary's Picks host, Gary Fowler. Gary is CEO and co-founder of GSD Venture Studios, an award-winning growth stage AI venture studio. Gary is also co-founder of the award-winning AI startup Eva.ai, as well as the investment firm DY Investments. Today, Gary will be interviewing special guest, Mark Halberstein, founder and CEO of Simplenight. Simplenight is a super app engine enabling hyper-personalized booking and ordering of anything, anywhere, anytime. Simplenight's omnichannel platform for travel, lifestyle, and more is utilizing generative AI and providing the booking digitalization and infrastructure to shape the future of commerce and data. Mark brings more than 20 years of experience in the technology, travel, hospitality, real estate, finance, entertainment, and AI industries. Specializing in destination experiences, Mark built a global luxury concierge business which catered to corporate, high net worth, celebrity, film studio, and brand clientele. Prior to finding Simplenight, Mark held various positions, including CMBS Underwriting at JPMorgan Investment Bank, financing major assets such as hotels, shopping malls, and arenas. Mark graduated with a degree in business administration from the University of Florida and went on to receive his MBA in finance and marketing from the University of Miami. Take it away, Gary.
Thanks, Joel. Great having you here, Mark. And welcome again to Gary's Picks. So, Mark, you've been in this a long time. You've done a lot of stuff. So how has the world changed since you started your concierge business, right? What has happened in the last couple of years, and how has Simplenight been such a powerful tool?
So I think in many ways the world has changed, and in many ways it hasn't. So I think the fragmentation that was there back when I was doing the concierge thing many years ago still persists today. In fact, it's gotten worse. The reason why it gets worse is you have these kind of big conglomerates in Expedia, Booking Holdings, etc., TripAdvisor. They gobble up certain brands and creates a further chasm in terms of true kind of end-to-end connectivity. And that's always kind of been a thesis of mine, was to kind of further along that connectivity. The fragmentation still persists, which I think still lends itself to the opportunity. But you have kind of really rad technologies now like generative AI. You've got, some better, API integration landscapes in the technology side for companies so the vernacular and kind of the standards have evolved a bit. So, it does enable a company like Simplenight to connect to more things at a global scale, much easier than it was 10 years ago.
So, we talk about a super app. You take a LinkedIn, a Facebook, an Amazon, an Expedia, and combine it. I mean, that's what it sounds like you have, but tell us a little bit about it. So what's the experience like? So if somebody gets on Simplenight, how does that experience differ from what they would do today without Simplenight?
So because we're an engine and platform, our model is B2B2C. What that means is that we're enabling other brand ecosystems to leverage their own brand equity and their own existing assets, right, and customer base. And we're not trying to take that or dilute that. We're trying to enhance it. So Simplenight will give them a product suite that includes a white label booking engine that's mobile first, which means we'll brand out a booking website for them that could sit in the palm of their consumers' hands. We'll also give them a mobile app that could be standardized and customized for their brand that's downloadable on both the Apple and Google Play stores. We also give them an API. So meaning if they want to use an API, what that means is a feed from our system to power and serve as kind of the back end brain for their own existing front end system. We can do that too, or you could take bits and pieces of it. We also have a component where you can do rewards and loyalty conversion into existing currencies, or we could become a rewards and loyalty program for a brand and white label that and together on collaboration together with Gary, we've built out a generative AI chatbot unlike the world has seen, where you could actually plan, search, book anything, anywhere, anytime. We've begun with certain use cases at global scale, but we're continuing to advance on that. And you can actually text and talk to it, and it's pretty groundbreaking.
Yeah, so if you look at, I mean, really, you're ahead of the curve, and having been involved with this right from the beginning. I've seen it. It's just amazing to see how the world changes. But it doesn't seem like it's limited, Mark, just to travel. It seems like there's other things out there. So tell us about your vision of the future. Where do you think this is going to go?
I think, in the coming years, again, through an enabling strategy, meaning us powering other brands, us building that, engine and platform, that back end for existing brands that have consumers and have repeat purchasing customers. We will enhance them even further, and it'll be, I want to book a hotel, I want to book a flight, I want to book a restaurant reservation, I need to order a prescription, I would like to buy a notebook in the store, I'd like to buy ingredients for a salad I'm making at the grocery store, I need to get milk delivered, I need pet care products, I need a tire rotation for my car, I need to pay my utility bill. I think these are all interesting interactions at Simplenight. Many of them we already do. Some of them we're very close to doing, and I think certainly over in the coming years we'll be doing all of those types of use cases.
When you look at these kind of personal concierge capabilities that are intuitive and have the emotion and compassion of your grandmother that care about you, love you. In fact, I wrote an article last week. I said, what if you take B.F. Skinner's operant conditioning, combine it with Carl Rogers' humanistic psychology, and then tokenize it? We can make the world a better place. And you're right. One of the things, the challenge is infobesity, and having the capabilities to have tools like this to make our lives better, that give us the feeling of having your grandmother there that can know everything and care about you is really important, because we are inundated with data. It's really hard to book something today. What about if you go to San Francisco and your friend that went to University of Florida happens to be out there at the same time, and you could set up a lunch at a place for sushi? And those kind of things are going to be the future. What do people say when you go out there? Because this has got to be such a different paradigm that people got to be kind of shocked, Mark, when they see this, because it's unique.
So I think you have kind of two levels. You have kind of the innovators and you have more the laggards. We're dealing with both, and we're dealing with large enterprise organizations in both tiers. We work with governments, we work with automotive OEMs, we work with major kind of search engines, major travel and hospitality companies, financial services giants, whether banks or credit cards. And all of them kind of echo the same sentiment of, we want to be able to get to know our consumers more, have more control in terms of data long term, have more control in terms of building greater lifetime value of a customer and brand equity, and obviously increasing our bottom lines in the process. And I think, at its core, Simplenight can really enhance their existing roadmaps and accelerate their initiatives that they're trying to get to almost overnight. They don't have to have everything that we offer. You could do it in small chunks and grow it over time. So that's what's nice. It's very modular, customizable, and flexible. And again, it's not something that's not going to be branded for them. We brand it for them, so they retain that kind of branding and the brand equity and the brand essence. So it's we're getting incredible reception. We're experiencing kind of tremendous growth and at global scale.
So, you look at it, who are the competitors today, Mark? Are there any competitors out there today that you see?
I would say that most companies that would come top of mind do one thing or a couple things tops. And so an Expedia, they're we do work with them, but they are only doing a couple things. Or Booking, same thing. We work with them. They only do a couple things. TripAdvisor, same thing. Apple, again, is more of a software play. So they still have got to go out there and kind of build out these products, build out the relationships, do the connectivity. Same with Google, who's actually a customer of ours. Meta, Amazon is an incoming customer of ours, right? So most of the usual suspects that people would think, oh, they can kind of take you out of business, or they're going to, they're a natural competitor, are actually becoming partners of ours. So I'd say close to 80% of potential customers or threats are becoming partners of Simplenight.
No, that's fantastic. And you look at it, I mean, they're in silos and they haven't really crawled out of their silos. And until they start to do that, they're going to be, companies that have those superpowers, that have those super apps, they're going to help us in all kinds of ways. I mean, I kind of envision that you'll have one dashboard for everything. So you'll come into something like a Simple Night and everything will be able to be done from one place. And it helps us solve that infobesity in a problem in a very intuitive, intelligent way, like
I agree
nobody's
with
ever
you.
done before.
Totally agree with you. I think the nuance is that the kind of persisting ecosystems, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Google, Apple, ones in China and Asia, Middle East, etc., Uber, right? These kind of forces, they will persist. There'll be some consolidation. Maybe there'll be a couple of new entrants. For us, we're inelastic to the changing kind of forces of the market in that way because we're an engine. So for us, we're just going to keep powering, enabling, enhancing, and try and strengthen their roadmaps and their ecosystems with the best products we possible and the most integrated, content in the world that is bookable, purchasable, and orderable anywhere, any place, anytime, any location.
Yeah, no, you're right. And so, the travel, right? That seems like the right place, but it's, I get on and they should know that I like to have a window seat and I like to be in comfort class. I don't necessarily want to be in first class because I don't want to waste money, but I like the comfort class on the right hand side because I like to sleep in the morning. But if it knew that, these systems would know that and know that I have an Emerald Club membership and know that when I land, I may want to have sushi at 6 o'clock and have a reservation. That's going to change things for us. And then if you can do it in a human-like way where it talks to you, and imagine having a sentiment analysis that understands your voice and actually can modulate the voice so it really reacts to who you are. That thing could be really interesting. Modulation.
You're right. And one of the reasons why it's not able to be done today is that fragmentation I was talking about earlier. So the airline is one system where you buy your ticket. Choosing your seat, more likely than not, is a third-party vendor that they're masking that's doing that. And they're not sharing data. Their databases are not enmeshed. And so you've already started off on the wrong foot. The restaurant systems, it's a whole other ballgame. And then there's the point of sale. So just because you make a restaurant reservation doesn't mean you have access to the data that's separate. So, I just named 4 different touch points in one example. So there's probably 5 more if you kind of flush out that use case. And that's just one path. The permutations here, we've really been investing in the infrastructure to try and create kind of like a framework around these permutations. So that way, we have all the systems connected for restaurants or hotels or flights or flight upgrades or seats or parking or EV charging or food ordering or, hotel booking, right? We've taken years doing that work and um, there's no replacement for that hard work. Now, we recognize that these larger ecosystems exist. And again, that's why our model is B2B2C, because we're not going to sit there and say we're going to try and compete with Apple or Google. We'll partner with them.
Yeah, and you're right. The silos are out there, and somebody's got to go down through a Simple Nice doing and cross across those silos and make sense of them. Because if not, nothing good's going to happen. We're so inundated with that data. I mean, to go down through and book anything to order, right? If you could do everything from one place in a very simple way that is intuitive, that's going to change things. So, what do you see? Where's the future? You look a year from now, how different are you going to be a year from now in terms of the app, in terms of the technology than you are today?
So without giving away too much, I think, the concept of book anything, anywhere, anytime, we're going to continue after that. And I would probably take that word book and, modify it with purchase, right? purchase and order anything, anywhere, anytime. And maybe longer term, it's do anything, anywhere, anytime, right? So I think we're doing some really exciting things and innovative, building some innovative solutions behind the scenes right now. And the kind of case studies that Simplenight is going to be attached to already and continue to be are going to be truly kind of changing the infrastructure landscape globally. And again, fortunately, we're working with very kind of prominent global brands and ecosystems, and that helps to kind of start chipping away at that infrastructure and fragmentation gap.
So when you look at it, like, what partners can you say? What kind of partners do you have today that you're allowed to talk about?
I mean, I mentioned Google, Microsoft's a partner as well. We work, Jaguar Land Rover is an investor of ours. Those are some easy ones to throw out there. But again, I'll go back to the types of brands that we're working with include governments, financial services, banks and credit cards, automotive OEMs, major travel and hospitality companies on, different spheres, and other sorts of really exciting opportunities that kind of live in between.
I kind of look at this. I can imagine getting in a Jaguar and you get in there and it starts saying, Mark, it's good to see you again today. Hi, my name's Kit. Like it used to be a long time ago, but really an intelligent system inside of that car. But that's that's a real driver anywhere. So that engine, I like the idea of the engine concept, and to be able to have that information portal inside of a car to be able to help you do anything. It's not just about, having responses, it's about action being able to be taken.
That's exactly right. We've been working with car brands for almost 7 years at this point, and the interactions and capabilities of what's possible just in that use case are pretty strong, from daily life to lifestyle to experiential to kind of just basic vehicle services and beyond. It's kind of full consumer centric merchandising from A to Z. And the data implications of that in terms of selling more vehicles, building greater lifetime value, greater brand equity in essence are through the roof. And you could kind of take that analogy and extend it to some of these other silos that I was mentioning, and it's very similar.
I mean, the thing is, you look at it, I mean, retailers, right? Whether it's a Walmart or a Home Depot or Lowe's, all those retailers out there having this kind of portal and an engine that's white labeled, I can imagine the possibility because that gives them access to everything.
It's exactly right. Exactly right. Some of those names we may have spoken to in the past, and the implications of our
What is
engine.
that, Mark? I didn't hear that. What did you say?
I said, yeah, yeah. So we may have spoken to so some of those brands, but the implications of what we've built and continue to evolve, they the brands, I mean the ecosystems, they don't have a ton of work. It's not a heavy lift, and Simple doesn't have to go and build a whole new product from scratch. So let's say a Walmart said, hey, we need you to stand something up for us in 3 months, no problem. And let's say then Jaguar Land Rover says, hey, we need something up in the same 3 months for us. Our team is really built for global scale.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, the one part of it, it's not just about the technology, it's about the relationships you already have in place that have taken a long time to develop. So you can have the greatest technology, but going out and, having to go over and put those relationships together, it's not so easy, is it?
It's a really good point, Gary. One of the biggest value propositions that we're seeing is kind of extending my point earlier about how brands are going to retain their own customers and we're not trying to dilute that. Same thing goes with their existing partnerships. So let's say that brand X already has a relationship with Disney. Their rate will prevail. We'll just host it for them because again, the benefit of using Simplenight versus trying to figure it out themselves is you're not only going to get Disney, you'll get Universal, you'll get SeaWorld, you'll get all the hotels and all the restaurants and every other service that you have in Orlando, right? So, and we can consolidate that for them. So if they want 50, partners on their platform served through to us, we could actually help them consolidate that. That's part of what we do day in and day out. So that's a huge value prop. Another big value prop is that we can host any kind of vendor we like. Okay, what I mean by that is it doesn't have to just be something that's connected on an existing reservation system or point of sale. We can actually onboard vendors directly onto our platform. We've built our own internal Shopify or Amazon-like system. I'm not saying it's the most robust thing out there, but it serves the purpose. We can work with any kind of vendor we'd like, which serves to, to bringing that vision true. So from the consumer's perspective, whether that coffee shop was through Oracle's Micros point of sale or hosted on the Simplenight platform, they don't know. They're still buying the same latte. Versus maybe this restaurant, they make a reservation that's through OpenTable. We can do both.
You look at it, one of the things that just came to mind is imagine if a Disney or Universal Studios had it white labeled as theirs and use that to be able to capture a whole lot more revenue than they have today. Imagine the possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, we know those folks, so I can't really say more on that, but there's room for improvement, and Simplenight can definitely help them accelerate and innovate on their existing product roadmap, rapidly.
So, there are a lot of investors that watch us here all over as we're rebroadcast. There are a lot of potential partners out there. What would you say to those potential investors that are out there in terms of how do they get a hold of you? What's the best way to get a hold of you to touch base?
I'm very approachable and open to collaborations across the board, whether it's partners, investors, and the one and the same. You can reach me on LinkedIn or email me at mark@simplenight.com. That's MARK@simplenight.com. And I'd love to talk to you.
So, you've gone down through this journey, you've built a couple of startups, you've had success. If you could go out and say one thing to other startup entrepreneurs just like yourself, Mark, what would you tell them?
Oh, I'd say two things. One, trust your gut, but also listen to those around you that have the experience to help, maybe give you some insights that could save your business from succeeding or dying, or save you time. I think those 2 points are really critical because the kind of core vision really at the end of it, Simplenight hasn't really been modified too much in more than 10 years. It's the same stuff I was doing in the concierge space before, just digitized and with some fancy tools around it, but the same essence is there. So, and there's been a lot of naysayers and there's been a lot of, hard times and difficulties and hurdles over the years, but we're here and we're thriving. And I think, but I did listen to, sage advice, and I, took that into account and, tried to apply things, minor pivots, branding, updates or tweaks, taking, capital from different types of investors, et cetera. And it all kind of, at the end, has to come together. It's a process. It's not like, it's never going to be the way that you envision and dream, but it still can end up very close. And that's part of the beauty and the magic of this entrepreneurship, existence.
It sounds like you're building another Google. It sounds like you're going to be that big. You've got the wide reach. You got the opportunity for everything, anything, anywhere, anytime. That's really cool. So thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. Joe, over to you.
Great. Mark, really a really great interview and really insightful. Our audience is going to eat this up, I'm sure. Gary, thank you for another excellent interview. Really appreciate it. Until next time, which is in 2 weeks from now, everybody stay safe, and we'll see you in a couple more weeks. Everybody take care now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take
Gary.
care of yourselves.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.